What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the Collingwood Hawthorn game. Let's get into it. So, I didn't want to record last night when I got home because I was just in a weird state of mind. So I thought, look, I'm going to record first thing in the morning, or in the morning, because I'd think a little bit more clearly. I'd see the numbers a little bit more. I'd watch a little bit more of the highlights and stuff. And then, this Nick Daicos news comes out that he's out for 6 weeks. Murphy's out for 3 weeks. And that's a big blow. Not only a blow to the boys themselves, first and foremost, you wish them a speedy recovery. But it's also just a blow to the confidence a little bit. And we'll talk about this game as well, and then maybe I'll make a separate video for what this sort of means going forward. But it's a bit of a blow. It's a bit of a gut punch. 3 weeks. So Nick Daicos is out for 6 weeks. So there's 3 weeks left of the season. A fourth week is the bye. Fifth week is the first final, and then the sixth week depends. He either comes back for a prelim or he comes back for the qualifying final. But that's, we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on, when that sort of time comes. But right now, you just sort of take it in, and it's disappointing, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity wrapped in a bad. What am I trying to say? Opportunity wrapped in a bad box, pretty much. Now, I didn't want to make this video all about these guys, but just quickly, and I'll make another video as well. It's just an opportunity for someone else to come in, pies it back against the wall, and we just wish Daicos and Murphy a speedy recovery in a game that was just a dead rubber for us, which is the worst part about it. So let's just talk about this game now. So Pies took on Hawthorn Saturday afternoon, and obviously Pies going in favourites, right? Hawthorn were 16th, and the Pies obviously first, 2 games clear, a bunch of percentage points, and these last 2 games, the one to Carlton and the one to Hawthorn, dead sort of rubbers. And that's not to take away anything from Carlton, and that's not to take away anything from Hawthorn. They both played out of their skin. And I guess before I go on any further, Hawthorn, and I've said this in how many videos, I love Hawthorn. I love what they've done this year. Sam Mitchell has just got these guys firing. They're such a nice, young, talented group, and they'll probably win a premiership in the next 5 years, I reckon, because they are just so good. And what they were able to do yesterday, and I tweeted this and said, every tackle, every possession, every goal, every behind, every smother, it all meant so much to them. They cheered on the little things. They cheered on the big things, obviously. They were cheering on a rundown tackle. They're cheering on a smother in the fourth quarter, or whatever it was. Those things that we were doing early on in the season that we're not doing now, these Hawks are doing it, and it's all about those little wins. And hats off to them, because they absolutely outplayed us. They did everything right, and they just took us to the cleaners. Now, this game was a little bit sort of weird. So Hawthorn go on to kick the first 5 goals before we put 4 goals in on the in the second quarter, and then you sort of go, okay, we started off really slow. Maybe it's one of those games where, we're just sort of going through the motions, and then we sort of go, okay, hang on a second, backs against the wall. Not backs against the wall, but like, hold on, wait a second, we can't let them have more of a run on. Let's go out and let's try and do something with it. We got pretty close. We got pretty close to them in that second quarter, and then they come out, kick 6 goals in that third quarter, and then that's pretty much tells you the story. This Collingwood team yesterday just looked like they were going through the motions, and you know how I am, right? If you follow me on Twitter, you know exactly my feelings, and I think, first and foremost, I'm a Collingwood supporter, and I'm a fan of this team, and despite all the stuff that I do for Swoop and stuff, I am a fan of this team, so I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's something that I pride myself in, really. heat of the moment sort of stuff. But I felt like it was just atrocious. We didn't play the Collingwood way, and a little bit of that is me thinking that Collingwood were like, we're 2 games clear, let's just try and go out there and not sort of injure ourselves and not sort of go hard, because there were 50-50 balls where we would win those every single day of the week, except for yesterday. There were just low efforts, not really sticking tackles, not really running to position. The Hawks' zone was just, immense. There's sort of zoning, and they were able to find so much space in a game where we couldn't find space. We weren't going up the corridor until the last quarter. We were finding the wings a little bit more. We were going very slow. We just looked very lethargic. And I see a lot of tweets and just Facebook comments and stuff like that saying, maybe it's a heavier training load going into finals, and maybe this is all a part of a game plan. And I think half of it might be a heavier training load. I really don't know what that means. I don't go to the training session, so I don't really see any of what that means. But if you go to the sessions, leave a comment down below. Let me know, what is that? What is a heavier training load? You know what I mean? So, I theoretically understand it, but what does that mean going into the finals? So, this game, I think it was, let's do the bare minimum and still try and win. But then Hawthorn sort of got away from us, and we just didn't go into the next gear, because we're just like, it is what it is. We're still going to be top of the ladder. We still pretty much got a top 2 spot sort of locked in. And I think that's what it was. I think it was played mainly above our heads. I think the players thought we were going into this game and it was going to be a win. And, just sort of reiterating the fact about all the Hawks and what they were able to do. They took nearly double our marks. They had more marks inside 50. They had nearly 100 more uncontested possessions. So they were just able to do more with the ball than what we were trying to do. The biggest stat and of concern is center clearances. So Hawthorn had 18 center clearances. We had 3, which is our worst differential for the whole entire year. Stoppage clearances, we won 33-16. But those center clearances, especially now that the game is 6-6-6, if you win a center clearance, I honestly, I don't know what the sort of percentages are, but if you win a center clearance, I dare say that you've got first hands to the ball, and you're going forward a lot more quickly, and you got a better chance to score. So losing the center clearances by that much, when we average about 12 center clearances a game, to go to 3 is just kind of shows the lethargic state of the team and the kind of nonchalantness about how they went about it. It's a weird one to read, because on one hand, Hawthorn just absolutely outplayed us. Just killed us in every facet of the game. They killed us, and credit to them, because some Hawthorn players were coming out and saying this is one of their favorite wins of their career, and of course it was. They hunted the best team in the league, and they proved it, and they put it up to us, and we just didn't have any answers. But then on the other hand, how much do you read into this from a Collingwood perspective? And I know I've seen a lot of your comments after it, and even some of my comments. It was atrocious, and even if they're 16th, and even if it's a sort of dead rubber game, you still want to see a win, obviously. You still want to see the players put in effort. There's only a couple of players that could sort of hang their head or hold their head high. You've got Bo McCreary did all that he could. But even if you look at the player stats, right? Jack Crisp had 27 disposals coming off. He played a lot off the half back line. Pendlebury did okay. Sidebottom did okay. I don't think anyone can really hold their head up high and say, yep, I did a good job. Besides, I think Bo was sort of everywhere, and I just saw him go into contest to contest, and that's what I like to see, especially in a game where everyone plays shithouse. I want to see that. And then, Darcy Moore is Jamie Elliott's missing a couple of goals, even though, Jamie Elliott kicked 3 goals, 1, so he can hold his head high as well. Brody Majak isn't having that good of a season since returning from his injury. Tom Mitchell gets subbed off. Taylor Adams, Patrick Lipinski. I think Pat Lipinski needs some time in the twos. If he's just going to play that sort of high half forward role, I'd rather him play in the middle. He's not giving us anything post shoulder surgery or post returning from that injury that he did last year. I think he needs a couple of run in the twos. And then you have Nick Daicos, who had 5 disposals. So I think I read only 3 times in his 45-game career has he had less than 20 disposals. Finn McGuinness wore him like a glove, and it was a hard tag, like I said it would be. It was a hard tag, so, hats off to Finn McGuinness, because no one in this league was able to do what Finn did. To keep Nick Daicos to 5 disposals, albeit he had a fracture in his knee, that happened in that marking contest. I think it was in the 3rd quarter where that Hawthorn player ran into him. It is what it is. It's just an unfortunate accident. So he had 5 disposals, couldn't shake that tag. I don't think the players around him did enough to shake that tag. I don't think they helped him as much as they could have. And that's a bit of self-reflection on the team. Even if you're sort of going into this game thinking that it's just one of those games, I think it's a little bit, it's a bit disappointing that no one sort of helped him until it was a little bit too late. And I don't know, it's just one of those weird games, and it's disappointing. We haven't lost 2 in a row since, I think it was round 9 last year. But a little bit of an omen, and I don't believe in omens, but I'm going to cling on to any sort of little one that I have. 1990, we lose to Hawthorn by, I think it was like 80-something points, go on to win the flag. 2010, we lose to Hawthorn late in the season, go on to win the flag. So hopefully this is a little bit of an omen, but there is going to be a lot of questions asked internally, and this isn't the Collingwood that we've come to love, and I honestly think it's by design. I don't know what is making me say that. But I honestly think it's by design. And if a couple of results sort of go our way, we do pretty much have a top 2 spot locked in. But in the next 3 weeks, you are going to want to show something, because we've got Geelong, Brisbane, and then Essendon, who are wanting to make finals. So it's going to be an intense 3 weeks, especially without Nick Daicos. But I think the boys were just going through the motions here. And I honestly thought the Carlton game would have been the fire that we needed up our ass. But it wasn't. Hopefully this game is now, because we don't see this Collingwood side losing 3 in a row. We come up against the premiership, the premiers from last year, was what I'm trying to say, who want to play finals as well. So it's going to be an interesting 3 weeks before the finals start. This isn't the Collingwood that will play finals, this team right here that we've seen. I think there's some things getting tweaked. I think this is by design for some reason, and call me a dickhead, call me an idiot, call me an unreal optimist, but I don't know, yes, it hurt, but it didn't hurt. This loss hadn't hurt as much as previous sort of losses have. So, like I said, it's a really weird one to read, but I think it's somewhat by design. And come finals, this team just is going to kick into another gear. But we're going to have to see now this build up from Geelong to Brisbane to Essendon and until finals. It's going to be very, very interesting. We're still top of the ladder. We're still 2 games clear on top of the ladder. Let's see where the rest of the year takes us. But look, let me know your thoughts down below just on everything. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.